Excuse me, Chair Livesey. Could you test your microphone before Tamika gets too far away?
Test, test. Seems to be functional.
Thank you.
Okay. With that, good? Okay, with that, I will go ahead and call the meeting to order, our special called meeting looking at the review of precinct returns. Thank you all for attending the meeting today and for bearing with us through some technical difficulties. Technology is wonderful when it works, and while it helps facilitate our communication, sometimes it likes to, give us some bad messages. So in that, now that we'll move on, the first item of the agenda, of course, is the approval of the agenda, and I'd accept a motion to that effect.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we accept the agenda as presented.
Motion has been made. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second have been made. Any discussion? I'll call the vote. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, say nay. Meeting carries unanimously. Okay, that brings us to third item on the agenda, the public comment. I don't believe we have public comment today. We've got one. Save the best. So public comment speakers will be given a 5-minute maximum time limit to speak before the Board of Elections about various topic, issues, and concerns. Speakers must direct comments to the board, and responses are reserved at the direction of the board. So please state your name and where you're from here in Fayette.
Hi, my name is Jamie Harmon, and I am a resident of Fayette County. I do live in the woods here in Fayette County. But I'm standing at the mic today, if I may, to speak on something that I found interesting, the precinct in Tyrone. We cannot have employees working under those conditions. I went over there at the start of the early voting the first day. It was extremely hot. It was sweltering. It was very hot. If there's any way that we can use the public library in Tyrone, that would be more efficient, I think, and a better place for people to vote. Everything's contained in one area. So, and these are the same comments I shall also present to the Board of Commissioners. We must allow our voting to happen in the public buildings that are adequate and not endangering our employees here in Fayette County. The next thing I need to know, and hopefully it will be addressed today, what precincts will be open for the runoff? Will we allow ease of access to the ballot for all the residents of Fayette counties? Because I believe that voting is a right. In a democracy, even a representative democracy, we must all vote and stay engaged within our government, and that's how we do this, through voting. So every vote must be counted. And one final thing, and I'm thankful that we did observe Juneteenth here in Fayette County, because Fayette County is 25% black, and Juneteenth, or sometimes what we call it Jubilee, is one of those things that celebrate the fact that although there was communications available in the 1800s, the fact of the Emancipation Proclamation being signed in 1863 did not reach all areas of the South. And the last to reach was in Galveston, Texas, and it was 1865. So imagine you had freedom, but you were still enslaved for 2 additional years. And you don't know what life is like until you are free-ish or you have no freedoms. And that's why voting matters here in the United States, because it's the one nation where we, the people, actually control our fate. So I thank you very much.
Thank you. No additional public comments? That will bring us to the next item on the agenda, of course, new business. Our only item of new business for the day is reviewing the precinct returns. So at this point, I would ask Director of Elections, Ms. Brianna Garrett, to give a brief rundown on what we're looking at.
Good evening. In front of you, you all have a packet. Inside of that packet, you have your election summary report. That shows you the breakdown of the contest and the tally of votes. You also have your statements of votes cast that shows you by precinct and by contest how people voted. And then I've also included a poll pad report. So what that does is show how many check-ins each polling location had on election day. That's also attached to our Jarvis database. So as you know, the equipment and the machines are not attached to the internet at all. In order for us to successfully give you the opportunity to compare numbers, I needed to find a Jarvis report and the equipment machinery, basically your scanner report, which isn't connected to anything, to compare those numbers and make sure that they match. We've already compared ourselves, but I just wanted to provide you now, especially since it's mandated by law, to look at those numbers and cross-reference them for review. I also have an absentee report on the computer. It's fairly large because it's 1,225 voters. And I also have all of our precinct returns, which I know originally I said I wasn't going to bring over, but I think that it's fair to give you the opportunity to look at our recaps, shall you wish. Board member Alexander has already had the opportunity to come in and review, so that we wouldn't be here until 7 o'clock, shall it be needed. So she saved the board some time, but all of that information is available. But based on our findings, from our election returns, everything matches and we don't have anything outstanding or any challenges that we need to discuss. I hope that was brief. Are there any questions for me?
Any questions from the board for the director?
Just provisionals. Did we have any provisionals, or was it?
Yes, we have 2 provisionals and we'll discuss that at the 5 o'clock meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Director Garrett. I would ask the board if they would take a few minutes, just take a peek at these documents, analyze the results, and yeah.
Brianna, just for clarification, on the poll pad check-in
Yes, ma'am.
that we have, the numbers are all for election day, and so the first column, regular, are the ballots that were counted.
Yes,
Yes,
the check-ins that were counted. Yes.
the check-ins that were counted. Okay, and provisional, nothing. There were no provisionals on election day, I take it.
Because provisionals wouldn't be done on the poll
That's
pad,
correct.
but the
Okay,
report
sorry.
allows for it. So,
And tell me what canceled are.
so
How does
if
that come up?
if a voter comes in, picks the wrong party, goes to the machine, realizes it's not their ballot, then we would have to cancel their check-in and then go back and reissue another green card for them
Got
to go
it.
back to the
Okay.
BMV.
All right. And spoiled are, they voted wrong or changed their mind?
Correct, and we still mark it spoiled on the poll pad. It's in the same concept. Let's just say they printed out that ballot and decided that when they got to the scanner, there was something marked wrong, then we will spoil it and it will mark it in there as well.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Yes,
Can you
sir.
hear me?
Yes, sir.
I got a question. I'm reviewing the statement of votes cast. What is the difference between times cast and total votes? I guess I need to know what the meaning of times cast is.
And that's on the,
That's under the statement of votes, the thicker document.
Yeah, there's one example on page 8 of the statements of votes cast. The times cast, I believe, would be the total turnout for people that came in, checked in, and decided to go up to a machine. Now, of course, if the total votes could differ from that if people chose to leave the ballot blank, and that would be considered what we call an undervote. And I know that did happen a few times, especially in this election, because one candidate in the District 3 Democratic primary was disqualified from the ballot. So anybody who voted for that candidate, that vote would effectively be discarded, but it would still be counted as turning out for the election.
Okay.
Is that anything incorrect there, Director Garrett?
what you said was correct. I'm still lost on where it is, but yes, that information was correct. You said page 8, correct?
Yes. There on the left side, times cast, registered voters. Of course, it's 90-degree angle.
Okay.
But what was the other one? You said times cast, and what was the other statement?
But total votes. And so
Got it.
what you're saying is that they go in and vote. What I'm generally seeing when I look at these numbers, and there's a variance between times cast and total votes. So I'm looking at one here. It had 45 times cast and only 38 votes.
What page is that
35. It's under McIntosh precinct. This is just one that I ran across, and some of them have the same amount, but some of them
Yeah.
don't. So
Most
what you're
of them.
saying is, times cast is the number of people coming in,
Absolutely.
and then they go to vote, or they find them ineligible.
Oh, excuse me. Yeah, I might have been confusing there. So if somebody went in to vote, let's use McIntosh as an example. He said that it was 45 times cast and 38 results.
Yeah.
So 7 people got their green cards, put it in the machine,
Mhm.
and got ready to vote, and they either left their ballot blank or potentially, in this instance, it looks like there's an incumbent that's running for re-election with no other opposition. So it was, makes sense for people to potentially leave that race blank. I could understand that thinking.
Mhm.
But, another great example of the difference between the times cast and the total votes. If you look at the election summary report here, the one-pager, on the back, the bit about the ineligibility, on the back for the District 3 Democratic primary, there was an additional candidate that was listed on the ballot at some time, but a judge found him ineligible. His candidacy was ineligible to go forward. So, of course, you see the times cast are 2,239. Total votes is 2,002, so that's 237 vote difference. So those would be 237 undervotes. Some of these voters might have voted for the disqualified candidate. They might have left that race blank, but that would represent the difference in those numbers.
May I add to that, please?
Certainly.
So everything that Chair Lizzie has stated is true. However, for what you're speaking of, in particularly, that 28, or that entire breakdown, that's for the different types of ballots as well. So where you see the 28, those are the people that cast a ballot on Election Day. However, for advanced voting, people who lived in the McIntosh precinct that went to vote during advanced voting, that's what that 17 reflects. Adding those up will equal that 45 on page 35 under McIntosh. So for the people that live within that precinct, you have 28 people who cast an Election Day ballot and 17 people who voted during advanced voting.
Okay.
So this report kind of breaks down the different votes in different categories, different ways.
Yeah.
So that's what that is in particular.
But
But
I agree with he still had the same question, I believe. that where you're showing, you show the times cast breaking down for a total of 45, but if you go over to total votes, you still have a difference. And that's what his question, I think, was, that
Yes.
instead of 28, we had 24, and then for advanced voting, you have 17 and then 14 under total votes. So, was that your question?
Yeah, I was looking at the total, but I did notice that the advanced voting was less than,
Right.
than.
And so it's all due to undervotes, that's what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I just haven't grabbed the concept for an undervote yet.
Yeah, and we don't see them too often. When we're running the bigger elections in the midterms or presidential years, most people are going to be voting for almost every ballot.
Undervote is, I understand that it's under, the vote is under the people that walked in. In other words, your total is under. Is that where you get the word undervote?
I'm not sure how the term came to be.
The term is it's the opposite of overvote, which is when someone votes for more than one person. Undervote means they didn't vote for anybody.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear that.
Your mic isn't on.
My mic's on.
We've got you shut down.
So
I'll try to be loud. An overvote is when someone votes for more than one person,
Okay.
and they should have only voted for one. An undervote is when they vote for nobody at all.
Okay. So it's an individual kind of thing.
So, and like what Zach said, sometimes when we have more than like this, where you have just, a
Yeah.
couple of districts, and we have a lot of offices that are there are plenty of people that come in, and they may vote for 5 out of 10, and the other, they don't know the candidates, or they just don't care one way or the other, so they just leave it blank. That becomes an undervote,
Okay.
okay? Does
Yeah.
that help?
Yeah, I understand. Yeah,
Okay.
I kind of got it now.
Okay.
What happens when they have a write-in?
I think we would have that.
So I don't think there were any qualified write-in candidates this time around.
Not in this election. Yeah.
So there won't. So somebody may have written somebody in, but that's not counted towards the total votes.
Okay.
Because they're not qualified. Is that correct?
That is
They're not
correct.
on a ballot.
Yeah. And we do have a large portion of undervotes in this race specifically. The public is not entirely familiar with the Public Service Commission, its role in the
Yeah,
state.
yeah.
And especially with the situation of the disqualification of one candidate
Yeah,
due to his
yeah.
ineligibility, that also could cause that proportion to go up almost abnormally compared to what we're used to.
Well-
And one thing, Morris, just an FYI, and I've talked with Brianna about this. If you look at registered voters, the total, and then where it comes down and you look at the percent, or it says registered voters, 3,697 of 93,163. And I believe, Brianna, you told me that figure that we're given comes from the Secretary of State. Is that correct? Yes. That is really not registered voters. So this is something that several of us are discussing with the Secretary of State. It's actually what we call, registered voters are broken down into active voters and inactive voters. And as we go forward, inactive voters, you have voter challenges, they have to go so long they haven't voted, or they, whatever. For them saying registered voters, that's an error, because 93 is not our registered voters. We're at what, 103, 462 or something like that, as of May?
We're at 103K, 103, 400K,
103,
400 plus.
Yes.
I don't want to put the wrong number on record, but we're in that range.
Right. So that's always confused me, because if you go to the Secretary of State and look at the reports, they put all the counties up and they put the results, you're going to see the same figure, which is, it's incorrect. So I just wanted you to know, if you ever see when we start talking about total voters, the numbers do not G, and it's an error in what they're doing for the numbers that they're giving the counties to report. Because, for example, when we talk at 5, there was, we'll be discussing about the 1% vote turnout for how many precincts we have to have open and whether we have to have a runoff. So here you're looking at this, right, and they're giving you a percentage. That percentage is not correct. It was supposed to be of official registered voters. But we're
Okay.
still over.
Yeah, and this, this software will automatically generate these forms like this, so if we're going to make that change, we would have to go in the back door, change the coding itself. So I'm sure the Secretary of State is looking at that. They're probably not too keen on changing their processes. That's bureaucracy for you. But this, you are absolutely right. The registered voters is more like 103,000, 10,000 or so in an inactive status.
So the state doesn't count those if they're inactive?
They are completely eligible to vote. They're still on the rolls. It's just they will be scheduled for removal from the rolls at a certain time, depending on the statute, whether it's state or federal. But there is a kind of an already statutory process that's set up for all that.
Okay, sorry, I'm
No, not at
trying
all.
to learn through this process.
Not at all, not at all. Any other questions for the director, for the staff? Any additional time to review?
No.
Doing good? Okay. With that, you don't need any action from the board on this one, right? That comes at 5 o'clock. So with that, I would guess we can move on to the next item of the agenda, executive session, which is currently unnecessary for today. And that brings us to the sixth item, adjournment. And before I request a motion for that, I do want to welcome Mr. Morris Kelly to the board. Thank you for volunteering, for stepping up to this opportunity to serve the public, and in such a very important capacity too. I always say that voting is the right that guarantees all other rights, so it's really important that we maintain efficiency, respect for voters, and effectiveness when it comes down to trusting the results for everybody. So with that, thank you for stepping up to the plate. Good luck, and we'll be here to support you. And I know, speaking on behalf of Charlene and myself, we're really looking forward to working with you.
Well,
So,
thank you. I appreciate your patience because, I'll probably be asking questions and slowing
Thank you.
things down, but I want to
I've
completely
asked
understand.
a ton of questions.
Okay.
Ask away.
All right, thank you.
Okay, with that, I would open the board for a motion to adjourn.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we adjourn.
I'll second it.
Motion and a second. Technically, second's not necessary, but I like the enthusiasm. So I will call the vote. All in favor of adjourning, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimously.